What's up, guys? Today we have a different style video. We're gonna do a walkthrough of my 2026 rig. I know it's April, but I feel like there's never too late to do a walkthrough on a new setup. So let's jump right into it. We'll start from the front and work our way to the back. All right, so I guess the first thing, which is probably one of the most important things on a boat or for daily use fishing, anything, is a net. I know a lot of people don't use them. I stand by it and I always use it, especially in tournaments, because I don't care if it's a 12-incher or a 22-incher. This net is coming out when I'm fishing a tournament. So this is a net from Broken Twigs. I've talked about it a little bit on my Instagram page, but the really cool thing about these nets is, one, they're carbon fiber. Two, they're old hockey sticks that were broken and they refurbished them to make a net. And then they also have a hockey puck integrated into them, but they float. So there's many times where I've dropped this in the water and it floats, so you can just turn back around, pick it up, and continue on about your day. But a net, I feel like, is essential for kayak fishing, especially tournament fishing. I guess we'll go up to the dashboard. We have a dual setup. We have a Humminbird Helix 9, and I have the Garmin 93 SV, and I use this mainly for live scope. I use a mapping and avionics and all that stuff as well on it, but it's mainly set up for a live scope, as Humminbird strictly for down image, side image. And I have that on an H rail that goes across the dash. Love this setup because you still can skip, cast, roll cast, all that stuff without your graphs interfering with that. All right, we'll work our way back. As you see, I run a Newport Vessels motor. This is a throttle control for the NK300. I run this on a Yakutech mount. Perfect setup. I like, it's not too high, it's not too low. It works perfectly for how I like it. Going to the seat, I run a Noctua battery, I guess power bank. It's 12 volt, 28 hours. And I use this for like charging GoPros, charging my phone, turtle box, stuff like that. Anything that needs juice, I leave this right next to me. It's perfect. Under my seat, we run a few different things. The first thing is a Live fishing tackle bag. I use this to store all my soft plastics. Kind of like a binder style where like you can flip through all your plastics and they're not just laying flat. You can kind of like just go through it and see exactly what bait you need. On the other side, I run a battery box that connects to my motor, because that's what I use for steering. Most people run foot pedals. I use a little remote, an actuator, and you push a button and it turns the motor whatever direction you want. I know a lot of people ask me about it. I'm not the one that made it. Paul Averill and Brian Dohanty, I think, are the ones that designed it. But my buddy Hernan Cortez in Wisconsin, he's the one who I sent my motor mount to, and he welded everything up and got it set up for that kind of steering. So we'll work our way back a little bit and showcase, I guess, the main tackle storage of the boat. So in the back of the boat, I run a black pack. It's a 13 by 16. Paired with it, I have a short stack on top of it, and then I run this cool mount that I think his name is Big Bass Chris makes. It's a way for you to open up your black pack, and it still allowed to use rod holders with a short stack. So this setup is like really cool because I can still run 10 rods on my black pack and be able to utilize all the space. So before, with the short stack, you wouldn't be able to open it. It would hit your rods or whatever. So this is a cool solution to that. Right here on this mount is where I put my cleat, and this is how I control the trim of my motor. So as you can see, you can raise it, drop it. Super simple. You can do it one-handed. Before I had it in the front, I liked it. It worked perfectly fine. But the only downside was like I would have to use one arm to pull the rope and the other hand to latch it. Love this simple but like very effective setup. So behind the black pack, I have my Newport 36 volt 40 amp hour battery. That's used to power my NK300. Nothing special here, just battery. I have a battery box. Normally I'll keep it in just in case it rains or whatever, just to keep it safe. On the very back is the motor. This is an NK300. I have the dugout mounting triangle. I think that's what it's called. The steering triangle that dugout makes, it's just a lot beefier than the standard Newport one, and it allows it to lift straight up and not bend or turn. One crucial tool that is always with me on the water is the turtle box. I got it recently because of a friend, and this thing has been with me every time I've been on the kayak since I've gotten it. It's loud, waterproof. It is perfect when you're traveling, moving spots, or you want to listen to music. Turn it on, connects instantly, and goes. This thing will lift the mood for sure. So on this side of the boat, this is where I keep my live scope. This is LVS 34 on a dugout fisher mount. Shout out to Dugout, because that's where I get most of my tackle, gear, kayak. They're really good people over there, and they always hook it up. So if you're in the area of Georgia or want to travel, Dugout Bait and Tackle Marietta is the spot to go. They have everything, literally everything. So I keep the pole on this side, my mount is on this side, and that battery pack that's under the seat, I also have plugins for USBs or whatever. So what I do is I put a long USB-C charger on it, and that long charger routes all the way up here, and this is where normally I keep my Insta360 cam. I think this setup for the Insta360 cam is by far one of the cleanest setups. Like, the angle of top waters or landing fish, it looks so cool. So that's where I keep my Insta360. I normally have like my GoPro chesty or like that necklace mount to capture all the angles. So up here in the front hatch area, one, I keep my net on the front, just leave it like that. Works fine. Sometimes the net will fly off, but it floats, so that's a plus with that net. I run my nav lights. These are the Dugout Bait and Tackle nav lights. They 3M tape. Some people drill holes and put the wire through. I really didn't want to drill a hole in the kayak, so I just routed the wires above, zip tied it to the bungee so they don't move, and it's worked for 2 years like that perfectly. So in here in the front hatch, I run a 12 volt 50 amp hour battery. That is what powers both units and my live scope. I have a Tim Percy plate that has my GLS 10 and a FPV power distributor. That FPV power distributor comes in handy if I want to turn my live scope on, run it, or if I want to make a move and turn it off. I can control everything with a touch of a button, including each graph separately, live scope, and my nav lights. So I have my battery mounted to a top of a black pack crate. When I bought the short stack, it came with an extra one. I was like, how can I use this? So I cut it up to fit in here, and I have my battery that lays on it. Made some shims so everything sits level, and have styrofoam on each side so it doesn't, so nothing plastic or sharp is touching the kayak. Everything is secured. Took an old strap from my old life vest I found in the garage, screwed it down to the black pack top, and I run my battery up here. It's not the most clean setup, but it works, and for that 2.5 hour drive to Lake Eufaula, Alabama, it held up. It didn't hit my black box and had no issues. Alright, so I think that's like the full walkthrough of really how I have my kayak set up. It is not the most fancy and high-tech one out there, but how I have everything rigged up works perfectly for me. I was able to use this boat for the first time at Lake Eufaula over the weekend, and it worked flawlessly. Was able to get 6th place out of 37. So starting off hot with the new boat. Hopefully we can keep that streak going and get us a few dubs out of this bad boy. If there's any like questions on what this is or what that part is, drop them down below. I'd love to answer any questions or comments or anything about it. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we'll catch you soon on a walkthrough of my camp setup. So I appreciate you guys. Peace.